60%. If he's shooting on the road, he's less than 20%.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't blame him. You want Grant Williams taking those shots. Period. If they're wide open, because he's your second best 3-point shooter in the team.
And I got to give this show, the Grandstanders Live, all the props in the world. We're the ones who always talked up Al Horford, no matter what. Never heard one cross word on this show about Al Horford ever, when lots of the fans and media have ripped him, right?
Yeah.
Ripped him. And Al Horford put on a performance that is legendary, and if the Celtics do go on to win the championship, we'll never forget that.
You'll never forget that game. It was really the answer to your question, which was, what did the Celtics do? They hit him with the 1-2 punch. Al got super hot at the end of the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth, and Tatum, figured some stuff out. Budenholzer made a horrible substitution. He had to take Giannis out with 5 minutes to go in a 4-point game. The best player in the world had to go sit out, and they put George Hill in, and Tatum scored like 7 points off of George Hill in like 80 seconds.
And Udoka used to coach Hill in San Antonio when Hill was a rookie, and he said, Udoka's a very honest guy. His press conferences are starting to get to be Doc Rivers-like, where he said, we took advantage of George Hill, basically saying George Hill's washed up.
Yeah, George Hill's
he's had a nice career, but he's
George
done.
Hill's a lot like Grant Williams as far as shooting. If he's open and you give him plenty of room, he's going to hit it every time. Put a hand in his face and he can't shoot.
But he's at the back end of his career. I'm not afraid of George Hill.
Well, that's why you can catch up. You're a little quicker. You can get to him before he sets himself up, dips his knee in the whole 9 yards.
We talk about sports, it's a playoff game. You think these guys would be so intense and focused and stuff. And, what would it matter if someone did something on the court? That wouldn't inspire them any more than they would be. Then Giannis is in Al's face, taunts him, and he snaps. Al snaps. And all of a sudden, he's completely uber-focused like he's never been, and he's doing things in the court he hasn't done in 10 years.
Yeah, look, I think those things do matter, whether it's a playoff game or not. Someone gets under your skin, you become even more intense. You decide to be more aggressive. You may take a shot that you wouldn't otherwise take. You may make a move. Al, when he dunked on Giannis and hit him in the face as a little dessert,
deliberately,
he pump faked on a 3-pointer. He'd been hitting those 3-pointers all night long. Pump fakes, goes around Giannis and slams it home. I don't know if Al decides to do that if he wasn't woken up earlier.
Yeah, right.
Well,
great point. Yeah,
I think the referees had to put Giannis in his place, and so he was getting a little over-aggressive. That's why they gave him the delay of game earlier in the game, and then they gave him the taunting.
Yeah,
they didn't want they don't want to call the fouls on him still, but they're trying to rein him in a little.
Because Giannis was acting like everybody was his bitch.
Right.
That game 3.
And that's why the referees were giving him delay of games and taunting.
Yeah, because remember the one time where he didn't go to the free throw line and they told him to come and he said, no, I'll get there when I want to. All of a sudden the referee's like, okay.
Delay a game.
And that was the whole argument that Udoka had after game 3. Are there separate rules for Giannis? Can you just let us know what they are?
I think this is a really hard series for these refs to officiate, because you don't get this kind of physical play. If you could take a referee crew from 1994 and put them in this series, we'd be better off, because those guys were used to maintaining control over a very physical game. These refs don't see this kind of game.
No, they don't. Right.
So they don't know what to do.
Right. Because everything's a flagrant foul now.
Yeah, everything's a flagrant foul or a review or whatever it is. It's just it's tough to referee these games.
They've used that review as a crutch, like the NFL refs have.
They don't want to make a mistake.
So is it the Celtics have to be physical with the Bucks to move forward, or the Bucks have to be physical with the Celtics?
Both.
Why is this series? So you say this? It's both.
Both. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can make a case. I was thinking about this today. You can make a case for this series being pretty lopsided in the Celtics' favor if you consider the fact that Milwaukee got the jump on them in game 1 and were way more physical than the Celtics were used to coming off the next series or expecting.
Right.
And Miami just beat them up in the first game. And you can look at every game since then as after they adjusted to the physicality, the Celtics have really had their way in this series after game 1.
Well, at the very least, have been able to turn it on at times.
Right.
And,
Al's a fraction of a second quicker on that, and they probably win that game.
That's right.
Yeah, if it goes into overtime. Yeah, right. But, Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Game 1 against the Bucks.
They got the jump on us.
Yeah, they didn't realize that they had just gone into the Nets where they had no big guys,
right?
And they can do whatever they want.
Rob Williams was
had a field day.
absolutely buffaloed.
Yeah.
He didn't know what was happening out there.
And that's what Udoka said after Game 1. Guys, Brook Lopez is not Bill Russell. I mean, what the hell? I mean, he's a nice player and all, but why was he blocking everybody's shot or altering it?
Right.
So, yeah, but I will give this. Udoka, we just talk about Brad Stevens. I think now that we look at Brad Stevens' career, we gave him a little more credit than he deserved as far as being a
great coach.
Great game coach.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Oh, I thought we used to kill him as far as a game coach.
I think he was
I
think he was a good X's and O's coach, but I think over time they needed a different kind of they needed a different kind of coach.
But he didn't grow as a coach in the NBA like he grew as a college coach.
If he'd had the power he has now, I think he would have done better because he's given Ime the length and depth of a lineup that he would have loved.
Yeah, that's a great question. When you see that a coach, and now we see it obviously post mortem, you see a coach and a GM really not on the same page as far as personnel goes, and
I think
that's
that
why
describes Danny and Brad.
Parcells said he wants to buy the groceries, right?
Yeah.
Would that define their relationship?
I think at the end, and you could see the moves that Brad made right off the bat.
Yep.
He brought in guys who
he knew what he wanted.
He knew, a coach would want to coach, right?
Yeah.
And he brings back Al. He brings back Daniel Tice, right?
Yeah.
He brings in Derek White.
Yeah. He gets rid of Kemba.
I think Ime might have asked for D. White.
He may have asked him
from
sure,
San Antonio.
Who knows? But Brad we're going to get a benefit from Brad for a while because not only does he have a coach's mentality still, but he also knows the players.
Knows that team backwards
Right,
and
knows
forwards.
that team. So it's going to be 2-3 years where Brad's going to have an advantage that GMs don't have. At some point in time, it'll fade, and he'll go back to coaching.
Yeah, right.
I think it's inevitable,
Probably,
right?
college.
Someone's or some team is going to go to the Celtics and say, "We'll give you a first-round pick for Brad Stevens."
Oh wow. Okay.
Why wouldn't you?
And
right? If you're a young team, like what Brad did genius was take young teams and get them to be very competitive.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Right.
He wasn't great, as it turns out, he wasn't great about mature teams to get them over the hump.
Right.
But then, to be fair, no one's done well with Kyrie ever since he's left.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm actually shocked. I'm wrong about the whole Marcus Smart thing. I thought.
I missed that. I missed that. I'm sorry.
Reel that tape back.
Yeah, I'm wrong about the Marcus. A lot of people are wrong about Marcus Smart.
Not everyone at this table is wrong about Marcus Smart.
No, I'm sure if we could go back, Todd, go
I
back
have the
to
receipts. I have the receipts. A lot of text receipts.
No. There's no question. I wanted Marcus Smart out of here for
the entire greater Boston area knows you wanted Marcus
deflated
Smart
balls,
out of here
no
for
question.
deflated balls.
And I thought Brad Stevens was with me. I thought he was on
Your
the
side.
bandwagon with that. And was it Udoka who wanted Smart or to stay, or was it Brad Stevens?
I think it was Stevens.
I think it was Stevens. I think they, once they were able to say to Marcus, you're our point guard. We only want you to play point guard.
You're not
We'll
going to
clear
play
everybody
off the
else
ball.
out. Right.
We don't want you shooting.
Take 9 shots a game and distribute the ball and play great defense.
But that was Udoka who.
But I'm sure, yes. I also think Brad was pretty in favor because he didn't deal Smart.
And Brad built the team so that was the only option for Smart to play.
The skunk at the garden party this year was Schroeder, right?
Yeah.
Had Marcus not had Schroeder to deal with from November on, we might have gotten to this Marcus earlier.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But Schroeder played well early.
Oh my God, but he was awful late.
But you can't say enough about the job Marcus is doing on poor Giannis. He's given up, 8 inches and 80 pounds and harassing him to death.
And signing Marcus, I think he can go either way, like you talk about.
Yeah.
When they get paid, you say, Joe, they'll go either way. They'll go where they get paid and that's it. They don't do another sit-up.
Yeah.
Or it inspires them.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you say Marcus got inspired?
Yeah, and he got a very fair contract for the type of player he was at that time.
Yeah,
I think
now he might want a little more. But
too bad. He's signed for 4 years. I think it settled him down. He was no longer going out and trying to prove himself to to be a great
Yeah,
scorer.
the insecurity is gone.
Right? There's no reason for him to feel insecure. He's probably going to finish his career in Boston at this point, I would assume, right?
Yeah, how
Guys-
many, what's it, 7 years he's been here now?
Yeah, 7 years. He's got another 4,
Yeah.
3, 4.
That's an NBA career,
Yeah,
11
I mean, he
years,
may end up-
especially for a guard.
He ends up 11. Oh, all right. Just
36 is going into the
this is all
rafters.
I'm gonna. Oh,
36 is going into the
And
rafters.
guess who's going to be hauling
Oh,
that
yeah.
down the road?
36 is going into the
I'm gonna be
rafters.
with
He
him, my
plays,
arm around
he plays
him.
12 years. They need a championship, but he plays 12 years and they win a championship in Boston. He's definitely going into the Raptors.
Oh, no question.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right?
Yeah.
He would be just as valuable as Cedric Maxwell.
Kevin Garnett won one championship, and he wasn't even a Celtic for 90% of
5
his career.
years, right?
Right.
That's it's true. It's true. He is Boston. He's all.
sure is.
And he loves it here.
He
and
does.
we always love. Look, we love but we do love guys who love. being
Oh,
here.
yeah. They get special consideration in my book.
Look, everyone got all hot and bothered when Al Horford, he thanked the Lord for, and God bless him. You got to thank the Lord first. That's always good. And then after thanking the Lord, he thanked Boston.
Yeah. He's got his priorities straight.
Oh my God, he knows how to work his audience. Doesn't he?
Yeah.
That man will never buy another meal.
His sister is coaching him
Well,
all the time.
I sent this to you the other day. You know, I think there's an athlete on each team that has that kind of soulfulness that he has.
Yeah.
It's Bergeron, it's Al,
Yep.
it's Xander,
Yep.
and it's McCourty on the Patriots.
Yeah, I would get that. Yeah, that's
right.
great. Yeah.
And I think we've got one of those on each team. Just guys who've been here. Al left and came back,
Yeah.
but just they get it.
totally get
They're
it.
genuine people that those are people you'd want to go have a beer with, and you'd be fine babysitting your kid.
I don't think
right.
we'll see Bergeron anymore, though.
No, I think you're seeing. I agree.
His
with you.
last night will be.
He saw you see his kids now are joining him in the press
Yeah,
conferences
and
stuff.
he's losing 9 out of 10 face-offs, so I think that's it.
I think physically you could just see that he's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
He's thin and stuff, and
And
he's just not able to do it.
You know, in his younger days, he could play through a million injuries. Now he can't.
Oh, I'm sure he's got once after the season's over.
Oh, yeah.
Patrice
He'll have a
Bergeron
list-
would
he'll
have
have a list
12
like this.
surgeries. The guy
Yeah.
is just.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He plays with.
He'll have a list like this,
Where does he come as far as Bruins go in the list of great Bruins? Of course, Bobby Orr's number one.
Well, for this era, he's number one. In all-time eras, he's top.
Yeah, and on a
10,
personal level,
maybe top 5.
I feel more strongly about Bergeron than I do Bork.
Yeah, I would too.
Personally, I just think I've just been so impressed with Bergeron's career.
Yeah.
That
And
he won
he's
a- and he
total
won a
class.
cup.
And Ray Bork was a class act too. There's
Yeah,
not saying
no,
taking
my God.
anything away from Ray
Solid
Bork, but he
guy.
won a cup. To me, Bergeron, for me, is number 2 in Bruins history.
Really?
In terms
Over
of guys
Espo.
I've watched, as sentient
Bobby Orr.
human,
Well, Bobby Orr's
Bobby
one.
Orr and Patrice for me. And I know that's ranks higher than a lot of people, but I
Well, I don't know. No, that's.
No, because
But over Chara.
over Chara,
Yeah.
over Neely.
You got to
over
take
those
the
guys.
totality of the game and the length of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, those teams he captained have underachieved drastically over the years.
But he won a cup.
That's not always his.
Yeah, that's it.
He won a
But
cup.
Yeah, well-
most Bruins fans think they should have won 3 or 4
They
or
should.
5.
Yeah, I mean, they lost it.
All right,
Right.
but let's go. We'll stay with the Celtics.
Yeah.
The keys for tonight. First of all, you got to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have to play like those guys.
Total. If we've been able to win games all through the playoffs with just one of those guys playing well, right? God forbid. Is it too much to ask for both of them to play well
I
on the
think
same
game
night?
2 they did well, kind of. No, I guess no. I guess Jason Tatum
No,
did
I
play
mean-
well.
Well, they took them out early.
Look,
so
I think they're undefeated,
Yeah.
which isn't the same, but I think they're undefeated in their careers when they both score 30 points. They don't both have to score 30, but is it too much? Wouldn't it be nice to see both of them go off in the same game?
Well, I'll tell you, Russ and Joe, Jason Tatum does not get enough credit for Game 4 and his rebounding.
Yeah.
I thought he was just a monster. On the
Yeah,
rebound.
when you can't shoot, do something else.
I mean, this kid, his overall game is not just the point total right now. He's rebounding, which, if you're Jason Tatum and you're getting 8 to 10 rebounds a game, oh my God, what kind of player are
his
you?
rebound numbers, his assist numbers, his D. He's playing an all-around game. And even, look, he didn't play well in Game 3, and that stunk. But you can't, he also, all the other facets of the game, he played well. He couldn't score.
Right. But he was key in other ways.
Absolutely.
And that's what the great players.
Well, that's what
That's
you
what
have
the
to
great
do.
players do.
That's what Larry Bird did.
Yep.
Right? And, because especially seeing that they don't have to have Jason Tatum score 30 points a game.
Right.
They can have Al Horford score 30 points a game. And, in Game 4, Jason Tatum scored 30 points.
He did.
I Tatum is due. He hasn't had a good game all playoffs. It's 8 in a row.
Oh, no. I
Not
think
really super, a game
in
where
that
he
series
has
he
been.
played very well.
He has not, but I agree with Joe. He has not had a transcendent. Tatum goes out and scores 45 game, which, by the way, he scored 50 in a playoff game last year.
Yeah.
50, 45, 35.
Yeah, but that's when they
Understood,
he was the only
but
guy who
I don't think
But
we've
he
seen
hasn't
peak Tatum.
had one of his.
I do agree with that.
But you're
good
not going to
games.
see that 45-point game, guys. Do you notice they're triple teaming him?
Yeah, no, but
Yeah, it's Wes Matthews is taking him.
No. Then they bring guys over to help.
look, my prediction for tonight is I actually do think we're going to see Tatum and Brown put it together tonight, and Brown will free up Tatum to be more of an offensive force.
By any chance, did either of you hear Jaylen Brown's comments this morning about the officiating?
No, did you get on him?
He was very, very diplomatic. He calls the refereeing interesting. He talked about the officiating without talking about the officiating. He went on for about 4 or 5 minutes and never accused the refs of anything, but kept pointing out certain things that could have or might have or should have. He never said should have, could have, might have.
Am I missing something with the Jaylen Brown emotional roller coaster during game where he has to be consoled and?
I don't know. I think he's pretty solid. I mean, he gets
He's
a little.
the most consistent player on
He
the
really
team.
is. If you look at his numbers night in and night out, it's pretty amazing.
No, I know.
Consistency.
No, but he just looks like Mr. Sensitivity too.
I think
That's Rob Williams.
No, I actually do. I know what you're talking about, and I do know. I do know that he does have a reputation for he'll lose some focus during a game. You'll see him make defensive lapses that you almost never see Tatum or Smart make.
Yeah.
He just gets the little,
I was surprised though after he had that little tiff with Giannis.
That was kind of nice.
He sank both free throws. I thought, he's going to be a little.
Well, I
he'll
think
be
the
okay.
refs, Joe, notice they know Jaylen now, and he's a veteran, and they like him. He's articulate. He's he worries about causes. Because they were trying to console him.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? When he was at the free throw line.
Both refs came over and said, we got this.
Just calm down, just relax.
Well, he just, I mean, I think, they like him, and he doesn't, they don't want to see Giannis in a fight. By the way, just for the record, the last thing on earth you want to see as a ref is Giannis unhinged in a fight.
Because then
he will kill somebody.
Suspended.
He will do a Kermit Washington on somebody, and they will die.
I know.
You're right. He's
right?
that big.
He is. His
that's
arms are so long and
So
strong.
you can't the NBA cannot afford for Giannis to haul off on somebody
You're right. It's a great point.
on any level.
Yeah.
He really is the Greek freak.
Right?
He is. He does things on the court that it's like Stretch Armstrong and stuff. You're like,
He's amazing.
Oh, geez.
And
that
the
first
likable
step
guy.
He goes about 20 feet on one step.
In a likable guy.
Yep.
I got
very
nothing.
likable,
I mean,
yeah.
I feel the same way about Embiid. Embiid's just Embiid's a likable guy. These are both people you root for.
But I like that the Celtics don't like him. I like this
I
series.
do too.
They're
Not giving him any. They're not giving him anything.
And that was the whole idea that
Tatum's not hugging him
respect.
after the game.
Giannis was trying to be like, okay, everything's cool, and
Jalen said, "Get off my back.
Stop talking.
Don't sun me," because Giannis goes over, grabs it. hey, I'm going to sun you. And Jalen's like, no, you're not. Not me, you're not.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I'm your equal.
Yeah, right. I know. I like the fight in this team.
Yeah.
And Al had the same kind of reaction with Giannis. When Giannis stared him down, he went back and got him right back.
Well, they did that to KD last series, too. They didn't brook KD anything, man.
Look, we talked.
And KD was kind of surprised. He looked hurt, matter of fact.
We've had the pleasure of watching so many generations of teams and young players, and we love this stuff. We always talk about watching young players develop in the pros. But rarely would you ever say that you see a coach, a head coach, developing in front of our very eyes, like we see the Xanders of the world and the Mookie Betts. Udoka's getting better and more comfortable and more control of not only his team, but working the referees all of a sudden when I was saying he wasn't. This guy is developing into a superstar of coaches in front of our very eyes.
But
would you agree with that?
Yes, but I think he's much more comfortable coaching against Budenholzer, where they coached together for so many years down in San Antonio.
Yeah.
He's comfortable working the floor on the same floor as Budenholzer.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's the tree of Greg Popovich, and he learned under him. But can you see that development? Have you noticed?
Oh yeah, he's working the refs a lot more this series than he did all regular season and in the Nets series.
Ryan Robb comes up with that article yesterday in Mass Live. Really a good article if you guys have a chance to read it, about the adjustments that Udoka made.
Well, that he got put in a bind on the other night
Jaylen Brown
when Brown went out, and without Robert Williams, he had to do something, right? And Grant Williams was not playing well, and so he actually played a lineup that he had never played, a combination in a playoff game, and it was a smart call to make. He got Jalen in as fast as he could.
But
he needed Jalen back in that lineup.
That lineup had only played like 6 minutes together all
No, that's what I'm saying. He didn't
all year. Total.
It's just not a combination. Having Pritchard, White, and Smart out in the court is not typically a recipe for victory.
Three-guard lineup.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have to apologize as fans. We get a little emotional. We've been ripping D. White the whole playoffs. Last 2 games, D. White has
Played
come
really well. Yeah.
But his plus-minus has always been very good, despite the fact that
was he the best on the team?
Oh, I think he's probably been the best, maybe the whole series on average.
He's probably got the best. If he did,
plus-minus
Al might have the best too.
Plus-minus is a little hard for guys who don't play a lot, right? If someone's only playing 20 minutes a game, plus-minus gets a little wacky.
Which is what he's doing, right?
Right, he's playing 20, 25 minutes.
But usually when you don't play many minutes, you get the downside because you're playing with the second team.
Yeah,
and so usually you end up with a minus.
But he's just he's a guy that things work out.
He looks like a guy who has adjusted to the speed and the physicality of the playoffs. Remember, when San Antonio, he wasn't playing in any high-profile series for San Antonio over the last several years. And definitely the intensity goes up, and he's looked a little lost. He's looked a little bit like, your teenage brother trying to play in the adult league. But he shook that off in Milwaukee.
And I don't think in the Western Conference they play as physical as they do in the Eastern Conference. Well, Eastern Conference has always been the more physical conference. Even when they were way down and 8 of the top 10 teams were in the West, the East was still the more physical conference.
But also this series is really physical.
Oh, yeah.
And this is physical, like you said, for like the Ewing Knicks.
The NBA hasn't seen a series like this in a long time.
It'd be the same thing if it was Philadelphia. There'd be a physical series. Toronto be
not
physical.
Like this. You have Giannis and Drew Holiday. James Harden is not a physical player, right?
Yeah. No.
So I don't think I think Miami will be physical.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Especially if Kyle Lowry, comes back. So if the Celtics get there, they're going to have another physical series.
Which would be nice. Obviously, they got to win it first. But it'd be nice if they could win it in 6.
And Tatum owes Mr. Adebayo.
Yes, he does.
He spent a point of emphasis with him when he started the season. He said, "What did you do over the offseason?" I got stronger so I could finish at the hoop.
This year he finished that.
Everyone remembers
in the
is
bubble.
Bam just taking the ball right out of his hand.
A key moment. Is Lowry hurt?
Yeah, Lowry's hurt. He's only played maybe 2 games this series. He didn't play the other night. He didn't play the last 2 games. I don't think.
That'd be a break.
Yeah, his legs are kind of shot right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I want him to have the greatest health in his life. I want him
to have a wonderful retirement.
Lowry's mother is not very happy with you, and I think she lives in Brookline.
Yeah, right.
100 lovely grandchildren.
Yeah, oh my God!
But just the most beautiful
Take your time.
retirement.
Rest,
Yeah,
Carl.
take your time.
Get
getting
ready
back.
for training camp for next season. Look, we did that. We willed that for Chris Middleton.
Yeah. Although I would not, this thing goes. God forbid this thing goes Game 7 and Middleton comes back for Game 7.
You think? Who are you saying that? Who said that?
I mean, it sort of syncs. It syncs up with the timeline.
Yep.
It starts to look. You sprain an MCL. It's usually 4 to 6 weeks, and 4 weeks would be
no.
Sunday.
No contact drills. No, just pull it, Chris. I know. I'm going to have one guy call him. Nana Chrissy. You give Chris Middleton a call. You tell him.
Who's Nana Chrissy for the audience?
Nana Chris
Sale.
Yeah.
You tell him, no.
Take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Too much money in the line.
You come first.
Yeah.
Don't rush.
And then if
Basketball will always be there.
Hold on. Jacoby Ellsbury's on the line.
Right.
Let me see what he has to say. No, I do not want Chris Middleton come. That would not be good, guys. I like Arlington, Massachusetts' own Pat Connaughton out there. I love Pat because Pat plays zero defense.
Yeah, Pat does a lot of waving at guys at the 3-point line.
and standing there while other people get rebounds and stuff. Pat's, people
don't put the hex in. Pat, don't do this because Connaughton could go out and score 25 points tonight.
30.
Right? Yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
Pat Connaughton. You're welcome here anytime.
You're welcome here anytime. All right, let's predictions. Because it's a best 2 out of 3, so we can go back to our predictions. Now, I had them in 5, so obviously that was not correct.
I'm sticking to
2
my
out of
guns,
3.
6. But,
Celtics in 7.
Celtics win in 6.
Russ has the best
Celtics in 7. Win
analysis.
tonight, and it's going to be tough to win in Milwaukee. It's not impossible, but the likelihood is they win in Milwaukee, and the Bucks do, and we come back here, and it's just talk about a game for the ages. Especially if Chris Middleton plays.
Yeah, Celtics in 7. Handsome Todd, what do you got?
Nothing.
7. Handsome Todd has 7 too.
He's got a Whaler shirt on. What the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell does he know?
That's a Hurricane shirt.
Yeah, it's rooting for the enemy.
He's just one step above us.
A mole
one step
amongst
ahead
us.
of us. Yeah, right, exactly. All right, go to. Well, we have to go to the Boston Red Sox. We have to. They won last night.
They 1-0 without Cora's beard.
Yeah, why? You think he would have? Because that's what baseball is all about. Those superstitions. You think he would have got rid of that thing a lot earlier than that?
Well, he did say that at the end of the homestand. He said, "I'm getting rid of the beard. Maybe we'll win a game."
Yeah, we had to do that. They also know what they need to do: get better players.
A lot better players.
You had a nice.
So I noticed that Hunter Renfroe, who we traded for 2 prospects, who, by the way, are playing very well. Scotty's been following them. So, and JBJ hit his 7th and 8th home run today.
Holy Jesus.
Which would tie him on the Red Sox for the team lead if you combined Devers and Martinez's home runs.
He'd be number 1 in the
He'd
Red
be tied
Sox.
with them for 8. And then if you combined, I don't know, it's a long list.
Rest of the
Story,
roster.
JBJ, Arroyo, Verdugo, and Xander. He actually has more home runs than all of those guys combined.
Well, you can't include JBJ because he doesn't have any.
Right. Nor does Story, by the way.
You could also mention us,
Right.
too.
Nor does Story.
Yeah, right.
But the fact of the matter is, if you look at the roster, he would be he would have half the home runs on the roster.
Now I need to know, and I need to know this. So we need, when I walk at Fenway every day and I see Chaim Bloom, I'm asking him one question: could you have replaced Hunter Renfroe in that deal with Bobby Dahlbeck?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
Great question.
Right?
Yeah.
And I
Probably
think
could've.
they probably would have gone for it because he's still under their control.
Yeah.
Huge mistake.
Well, he wouldn't have gotten as much salary relief, right? Like I think what Chaim was doing was because didn't Renfroe was going to arbitration
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
but he was going to be like a $5 to $7 million guy.
Well, I think that's where we are with the Red Sox, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
5
You
to
think-
7
you
million.
think?
I think
no,
that.
but they picked up the JBJ thing.
12 million.
Plus, I think it's like an option for like seven more million.
I think they got off of money because they were also looking at Renfroe on what he would make the next year at arbitration. I think they consider themselves getting off longer term money in that deal.
It was a terrible deal when we heard about it. It's even a worse deal today. JBJ is not a major league player.
The hysterical thing is JBJ's like not on the top of the list of the problems that the Red Sox have offensively.
He's one of the better hitters of
He's
the-
actually one of the better.
He's not.
Yes, he is.
He's batting 178 with 0 home runs.
Actually,
No, I think he's up
no,
around
he's up.
200.
No, 178.
No, you don't want to check your phone on the show, but
no,
we'll
yeah.
we'll
He shut
confirm
it
that
off
afterwards.
anyways.
Yeah, Todd, check that and come in and yell at us. Last night.
I'm with Russ
He's
on
not.
that.
He's not the worst problem that we have.
He's one of them.
He's one of them, but he's
Yeah.
not the worst.
Who's the worst?
The worst problem that we have is Bobby Dahlbeck.
Yeah.
Is the worst problem that we have.
Oh my God, he's not a major league player.
He's not a major league player.
Why don't they send him down? I don't understand. I don't even understand.
I don't
it.
know. Well, like Franchi's playing now,
Yeah.
and seems to at least he's drawing walks. I mean, which Dahlbeck had a history of drawing walks and has completely lost a strike zone.
Heim Bloom does not. I assume that Heim Bloom, the general manager position, is a full-time position.
Yep.
195.
Okay.
All right.
Man, that's probably third on the team.
Look how it's not very good, Joe.
No.
Would you again? Heim Bloom is a full-time position as general manager. That's what I assume. It's at least 40 hours.
Yeah.
He punches in.
He's got a lot of people to work for him,
He
too.
does not devote much time to the current roster because he's not on a day-to-day basis making moves that one would make if you were felt like you were a contender. Would you agree with that statement?
Well, I think I would agree with that statement if you appended it with, and your team is in essentially a retooling or a bridge year, because I think that's what they are.
Well, I think everything he tried to do, he failed at in the offseason. He had a very bad
Well, other than
offseason.
Michael Waka.
Yeah.
Not a
but
failure.
I mean, the moves he probably had planned,
Rich Hill,
none
too.
of them worked out.
Yeah.
You know, Walker, Hill, those were crapshoots. And Walker's paid off. Hill's paid off, I think, too.
Yeah.
But, none of the things, the roster building worked. Everything he tried to, he probably tried to move Bobby Dahlbeck. He probably tried to, others than they demanded Renfroe. Everything didn't work. That's, Russ accused me of not liking Story. I love Story. He's a fine kid. It's a bad contract, and they only gave it to him because they had failed so badly in the offseason. I think ownership said, "Hey, you got to do something.
they made-
you
I don't
haven't
know
done
if that's
anything."
Joe. I don't know if that's a bad contract.
We
It's
gotta
a
wait.
bad contract.
We gotta wait and
You're
see.
suggesting that he's a bad player.
No,
and that
I'm
he's,
not saying
that
he's a
he's
bad
done
player.
as a player right now.
No, I've never
guys,
said those
No,
things.
but it's not a bad contract. I think you gotta just pump the brakes on that.
It's too long and too much
Well,
for a
it's
player
not.
of his caliber.
It's not if you think he's your starting shortstop for the next 5 years, which is why they
But also,
did
you're going to
that
need
contract.
Well, I think that ultimately Mayor's going to come in. I think
Right.
he's a stopgap measure.
But you're going to continue paying Story after that.
I think Story's gonna. That may not be a great contract, but I don't think it's going to be a
But
disaster contract.
he's a lightning rod.
I think he's the wrong guy on the wrong team. He would be much better off.
He has 95 plate appearances. Last year, we were killing Kike Hernandez at this time.
Yeah.
Kike
Well,
was
someone was.
dead.
No, I was killing him.
We were
yeah.
killing. All of us were
was.
killing him. I mean, you
But
couldn't.
at
you couldn't
$7
support
million
him.
a year, and we were
Right.
still
Yeah.
killing.
But just give these guys, give him time. He's a human being. Let him. He'll get hot. He'll be fine.
You got to give him. He just can't hit righties. That's the trouble.
But the point is, Story has a history of producing in Major League Baseball. Bobby Dahlbeck
Yeah.
does not.
No.
Right. JBJ does not.
No.
Christian Arroyo does not. Kristen Vasquez had one good offensive year. Does not have a history of producing. Right. So we got 5 guys who are playing every day in this lineup who have no history of producing, who they bet on.
And their backups
That's the
are
guy
even
could've-
worse. The Plawecki's.
There's nobody
and them.
to replace. You can say, well, you're going to bench Dahlbeck. Well,
Who
they
you
brought
putting?
up Franchi Cordero,
Yeah.
who washed out last year.
And also a guy like Verdugo, who we like on this show, agreed.
Yeah.
But who came out hot and has simmered down big time. But you can't sit Verdugo even for a game.
You can't give those guys days off. Those guys are getting no protection in the order.
Yeah.
No protection.
I was just going to make that point.
When a pitcher's facing Verdugo in the 6th spot, do you think he's going to throw him anything to hit?
No. I know.
Yeah.
This whole team was poorly organized.
It's poorly organized.
Yeah.
But I would say that
For this year, you might say this franchise is well organized for next year or the year after that, but they're not organized well for this year.
How will it be organized next
Well,
year?
a lot of money is going to come off the payroll.
and they got a lot of prospects. I'm telling you, I've been following prospects since I was a kid. And, there would be some years, Joe and Russ, that you wouldn't get good news out of the whole prospect system for a month. You wouldn't get any highlights at all. They would.
That's right.
Every night you had a guy like Brian Bello throwing a 7-inning no-hitter a few days ago. And they got guys in the lower system, in all levels,
up and
down. They've got huge prospects, guys they didn't even know about, putting in huge numbers. Pitchers, Brandon Walter. You're going to start hearing about a guy like him. Connor Siebold is coming up. Josh Winkowski, of course, Bello, Modesta. I mean, you have you literally have the wave of the next.
But we're talking about doing.
Franchise.
What about? Let's say, okay, you're letting Xander walk, and Story goes to short. You do re-sign Devers, I assume. Now you got the same problem at second base again. Who's your second baseman? Who's your first baseman? Who's your right fielder?
No, Cassis is your first baseman next year, and if not the second half of this year. So they know they've got that.
They're coming. Jeter Downs all of a
What
sudden.
if he becomes Bobby Dahlbeck when he hits the major league pitching?
But look, this kid has produced, at all the stages.
So did Dahlbeck.
Well, but Joe, then you can say that about every single prospect.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just discount all their prospects?
No, come on. No, guys, look. Bobby Dahlbeck, if you look at the numbers before the season started, had incredible numbers, for a rookie. Huge home run numbers and stuff.
Yeah, he had big power numbers.
Right, but we saw that. We saw in the playoffs where he couldn't hit the side of a barn door. And he's not producing. Now he's a guy, if you had a system in place, would go down to the minor leagues and get his shit together. Right. Okay?
But you don't have anyone.
But also Chaim Bloom does not care about this current team.
It doesn't appear that they're focused on winning this year.
Yeah.
Period. I just think what they did, what they pointed at, who they brought in, and 1-year contracts, stopgap pitchers, didn't really do anything to rebuild the bullpen.
No.
Didn't everyone could have told you that Matt Barnes became a different pitcher in the second half last year. He lost it.
He lost his fastball.
He lost 3 miles an hour of his fastball. They came into the year without a closer. So you're not winning. You're not going for the championship if you're walking into the year without a closer.
I want to address that but I want to finish one point. They're hurting Bobby Dahlbeck's progression as a player by keeping him in the majors.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about that. There's a reason they're slow why Tristan Casas is still in the minors. They want to make sure that he's ready. Bobby Dahlbeck needs to go back.
But where does he go? Well, but also, you're going to have him play first base in Worcester?
It's going to be a trade.
Because Cassis is
there. It has
there.
to be a trade.
Right.
You got to bring Cassis up.
Right.
You have to. He's the next guy up. And you have to see, and then you have to say, let's see how he develops in the major leagues.
But they won't do that. They'll do that in July at the earliest, I think. Cassis. I think they want to give him a couple hundred at bats.
The Tampa system has always been just keep bringing them up. Even if they're too early, they fail, send them back.
Yeah, but Tampa's different. Tampa's different.
Well,
than
Chaim
Boston.
comes from that.
I understand, but we've seen too many prospects get. Duran last year was. He was the next version of the savior. The kid was too early.
You sure
he
was.
Produced for a quarter season, for God's sakes.
And then when they started talking about the AAA system last year, the quality of play had diminished.
Yeah, there weren't fans,
there just wasn't just for some reason the talent level in the AAA system in the international league wasn't the same. So the numbers were being.
No, they missed a year of development. Most of those guys did.
Absolutely.
And that's why. Yeah.
So look. The fact is, we wouldn't be having this discussion, and I can't believe it. When we came into the season, it was clearly evident that Garrett Whitlock should be your closer. Garrett Whitlock ended the season in the playoffs. He was your closer. Worked out pretty well. Why are they doing this? They've lost, 9 games?
Brutal.
9 save opportunities that I am pretty confident that Garrett Whitlock would have gotten 7 to 8 of those.
Maybe it's him that he likes multiple inning.
No. It's the Red Sox. It's Chaim Bloom.
Because they've been wasting him
They're
terribly.
trying to have it both ways.
But I believe it's Chaim Bloom thinking about the future, saying
I agree.
that he'll go out and get his closer next year with his money. He wants Whitlock in the starting rotation moving forward.
Look, we actually have a recent example of the problem with this strategy, which is trying to win and build for the future, and his name is Danny Ainge, right?
Yeah.
And Danny did that for 3 or 4 years and didn't take advantage of those assets. And it feels a little bit like Chaim is doing this. However, if he basically sells everything off at the trade deadline, look, if they're out of it this year, sell everything.
Walker, Hill,
right?
All of them.
Get Devers signed and sell everything else.
Yeah.
If you know you, and I don't blame him if Xander's asking for 30 plus and you can't give more than 3 years, unfortunately, because of his age, and he wants 6, 8 years. You got to trade him. You got to get something for him.
Bathroom. Todd, can you stop the tape for 1 second?
We have a Paul Pierce situation.
You stop it? Todd? All right, well, you two talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the bedroom.
You know, we haven't even started with the Bruins.
No, we have not started with the Bruins. Talk about the difference between a home ice advantage and road ice. I mean, that was just as plain as the day as yesterday.
Jordan Stahl owns Bergeron, doesn't he?
Couldn't shake him.
If that's going to be the home advantage for Carolina, there's no way we can win this series.
And the only thing I was thinking about this, the only thing you could have done to win that game yesterday was they had a couple of grade A chances. Yeah. They could have gone up 2-0 early, right? You got to go. You said it, right? Yeah. You got to go up early. And they failed them both. They didn't cash into the grade A chances, and Swayman didn't save a seeing eye goal.
Yeah, that was just Cassidy addressed it. He's got to make that save.
Look, you could win in Carolina in Game 7, but you're going to need to get lucky. You're going to need an early goal, and you're going to need Swayman
or
a couple, and you're going to need Swayman to make a couple saves, and then you're going to need the Hurricanes to tighten up a bit because, look, Cassidy went into sort of panic mode in a way, right? Like he was moving guys up and down the lineup, double shifting. He changed those lines 10 times yesterday. He couldn't find a combination.
On that first goal, Hall missed his check. He took Hall out of the game.
Yeah.
Didn't just sit him down for a shift.
Last night.
He took him out.
Yeah.
Well, Cassidy's aggravated. You can see
because he might be getting fired.
You think so?
Come on.
No.
Why?
Well, who's he replacing with?
They got 100 points. They were a 100-point team this year.
They have to go out in the first round.
They're going out in the first round because Eric Holla is their second-line center. Donnie Sweeney's going to get fired well before Cassidy is at this point in time.
Oh, so they didn't have McAvoy for a game? They haven't had their top Hampus hasn't been in the game? I mean,
Lindholm hasn't exactly lit the place on fire when he's been in there.
But is that Cassidy's fault?
No.
You're going to – look, you have an aging team that they tried to carry over until another year. Cassidy's not going anywhere.
They have a rookie goalie.
Rookie goalie.
Yeah, he shouldn't be in goal. I mean, I want Swayman going forward, but this is way too big.
They wanted Rask. That was the whole situation.
That's what screwed everything up. With you got to keep. There's a lot of veterans on that team. Bergeron, Marsh under them, and Tuukka's their buddy, and they had to kowtow to Tuukka, and that made for a real problem early until the middle of the season. And it screwed Swayman up to why.
Look, if they get to a 7th game and they lose, it's against Carolina Hurricanes, who are a really good team.
No one's getting fired.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, I would say that the guy that may go would be Neely.
Neely probably. I agree that
deserves to go.
Yeah,
Probably.
if you think about the first, second, and third to go, it's probably Neely is 1,
Yeah.
Sweeney is 2, and Cassidy's 3.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I agree.
Cassidy got this team over 100 points again.
The second half of the season was
Over
outstanding.
100 points.
I like Cassidy a lot. He's a good young coach
Yeah.
still. I mean, I feel like even though Corey is a scumbag, that we have actually, and Bill
good
Belichick
coaches.
is far.
Even
beyond
with
this-
shaving, he's still coming.
No, Cassie's not going anywhere. The Bruins need to blow this team up.
You're getting pretty close.
But
yeah.
they've got so much talent on there. It's
Why
hard
do you
to
keep
do.
on saying that? Where's this talent?
McAvoy, Lindholm on the D.
Okay.
Marchand, Hall.
Yeah, but you're gonna, how many more good years you're gonna get at a Marchand? Not
maybe-
that many.
Yeah, a couple.
Right.
He's on the long
Your
end.
your biggest trade asset is Marchand.
Yeah.
Because you're not trading
No,
Pasta.
Bergeron. No, you're not trading Pasta.
No,
If you're gonna blow this team up, you're gonna rebuild it around 3 guys. You're gonna rebuild it around Pasta, McAvoy, and Lindholm.
Yes, right.
Right? In Swayman.
And
Yeah.
good job by
Yes.
Don Sweeney. Maybe Lindholm saves his job
Right.
because we're talking about a huge piece that
Right.
he acquired for very little.
That's right. So, that's the blow it up scenario. But I agree with Joe that if you're going to blow it up, you got to clean a lot of these guys out because they're too good. You're going to end up in mediocrity next year if you don't trade Marchand.
You're going to be like the last wild card team again.
Yeah.
Or just
Yeah,
to
that's-
the end of the lottery. You know?
Yeah, right.
You need to take this thing to the bottom, or at least the bottom third, right?
And you can get a lot from Marchand.
You can get a lot for Marchand. You can get, you'll get something for DeBrusque. There's guys who will create.
Look at
value.
the Canadians. They were in the finals last
Right.
year. And they started out poorly, so they said the heck with it, and they sold off
It'll
a
be a
lot
team,
of assets,
right?
and they're
Grizzlick-
ready to go again now.
Grizzlick could get you something,
Yeah.
right?
But it's always key to have 2 cornerstones in your defense.
You need two really good defensemen, and you need, we're weak on centers.
Yeah.
That's the problem right now,
Yeah.
right?
Coyle and Holla,
Yeah, I mean, I'd keep
Third
Coyle
round
around. I
guys.
liked Coyle.
Third
keep him
line
around,
guys.
But, yeah, second or third at the most. Hall is a third line guy.
Yeah. All right, go to the Patriots. Oh, wait, first of all, so Bruins, do they take it to the 7th
I think
game?
they're going to win. I think they're
Yeah,
going to win
I'll
game
take it
6.
to a
And then
7.
Joe and I were saying, you get lucky, you pop a goal in, a deflected, grimy goal up front or 2. Swayman makes a
Look, that
save.
one that
You can
popped
win a
over
game 7.
Swayman's
Yeah.
head last night.
Yeah.
The third
Hockey's
goal, I think
weird,
it was.
man. St. Louis came in and beat the crap out of us in the
Oh.
last game of the finals,
I'll never get over that one.
right?
Of
Hockey's
all the
strange.
losses, that's one of the biggies, right?
But that was a fluky, Marchand has a brain fart, and all of a sudden we're behind 2 goals.
That and the game plan was lousy. They came in and they shot their wad in the first 10
And they
minutes,
didn't- they didn't-
and then they were dead, and St. Louis had their way with them the rest of the
But
game.
of all the championships, and God knows we've had enough losses.
That was rough.
too, that
Well, it
was-
wasn't as rough as the football ones, but that was rough.
Yeah.
That was painful.
I know we should have won all of them. We should
All
have
of
won.
them. They shouldn't have
All
lost
of
any of them.
No, well, the ones we won, we won.
The ones we won, we probably should have lost.
No, I'm not talking about them.
How
We
about
won them.
Malcolm Butler's
That's what
play?
happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I want to talk about the ones we
Pete
lost.
Carroll had a mini stroke and he won that one.
That's still, they play that highlight
amazing.
all the time.
It's amazing.
As stupid a move as
I
I've
can
ever
watch
seen.
that play over
It's
and over,
amazing.
and I never never
Stunning.
gets old.
I still can't believe it.
Stunning.
Still don't believe Malcolm Butler's going to catch it still. That was just so good. I regard the Patriots, and the Patriots have a lot of media that kiss their ass big time. So they've been spending the whole week trying to tell you why all these draft picks are really good.
Yeah.
Just they actually getting better more and more as the
Sure.
week
Yeah.
goes on.
Cole Strange is the next Logan Mankins. It's going to be in the Patriots Hall of Fame in 2032.
Oh my God! Right.
Yeah.
First of all, Cole Strong was drafted number 29. Okay.
Right.
There's not the biggest expectations of all time for a guy in the 29th pick in the
Logan
draft.
Mankins.
Do you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I
Logan
don't know,
Mankins was 32.
what do they think you're going to get?
What do you mean? What do you think they're
I'm
going to
saying
get?
you're going to get a guy. You get an interior lineman, and
Well,
hopefully he's very
no,
good.
but you got to, again, it kind of comes back to these guys could be good players. It just doesn't seem like the best use of assets, right? They could have traded down into the mid-30s,
No.
picked up another 4th. They could have, traded down and still gotten that receiver probably. But look, by the way, if these guys are starting caliber players next November, we won't be banging on Belichick even for the misuse of assets at that point in time.
But sometimes guys are starting even when they shouldn't be starting, you know, because out of necessity.
Look,
And I think, you know, well, Strange might be the greatest guy that ever comes into the league, might be a Hall of Famer, but he's going to have to start because they don't have anyone else there.
But he has to be a starter, right? I mean, you cannot pick a guard at that high level, and not have him start.
Look, the one thing I'll give him credit for in retrospect after we got over the shock of like, who the hell are these guys, is they did draft for speed. Even Strange is
and athleticism,
like 4.9 for a guard.
Yeah, he can.
Right?
And they're all in that 99th percentile as far as athleticism
Right,
goes.
the running backs, so that's at least a response to what we saw in the field. They didn't give us the linebacker, the speedy linebacker, but maybe that guy is going to come from McGrone or McMillan or one of the other guys.
Someone who's going to get cut from another team, and they're just waiting on him.
Yeah.
Just sitting there, going to pound, sitting in the weeds.
Well, all we had to do is watch the Super Bowl, and you realize the future is what the Cincinnati Bengals wide receiving core is. Those guys were big and they were fast.
Yep.
And in Thornton, you got a guy who's 6'3", and he's supposed to be the fastest guy coming out of the draft, just about. So, as far as on paper, they picked the right guy. The Patriots have never had a 6'3" guy who could run fast.
Yeah,
not like that.
Hey, he might be skinny, but and I'm only looking at the highlight films and not showing you the bad place. But he looks like he can handle his own in a tussle. Those are college kids, granted, but he looks like he can handle.
We're just desperate for guys who can create separation on offense.
Absolutely,
just create separation. It doesn't mean because he's fast that he can, but if he can create separation, that's a huge improvement.
And Mac Jones is fantastic on the screen passes. I think he sells it like no other. If you can do some screen passes with Thornton and you can get him out in the open field, we saw what the Gordons of the world, the Josh Gordons, at the top of their game. You give them one step, they're gone.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to stick Thornton out on that kind of thing.
He might get killed. I think in year one and year two,
Bowen is going to be doing that.
I think year one and year two until Thornton gets, put some muscle on.
When he had small receivers before, he didn't even ask for yards. When you catch it, you go down. Even if there's no one within 10 yards of you.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Bourne. I want the ball in Bourne's hands more.
Yeah,
he's their best all-around receiver.
I think so. Yeah, just get it to Bourne and make him.
He played all three positions, X, Y, and slot.
Yeah.
And did well at all of them. I mean, he's no all-pro at any of them, but jack of all trades.
Well, I have a friend who's a 49ers fan, and they were really pissed off that
Is that right?
the 49ers did not.
And remember
sign him.
Devontae Parker too. So
Yeah, right. I forget about Parker.
forget him. Look. So they did respond to their needs on offense. Some of the needs they created themselves, though.
However,
They didn't get anything really on defense, so they didn't address defense. So
they get the defensive. They just a couple defensive.
I heard
backs.
a rumor that teams wanted Aguilar. Why did they get rid of him?
Why didn't they get rid of him? I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe they still will.
That seemed like an easy one. Get a draft
well,
pick,
remember,
get rid of his contract.
Well, a lot of times things are dependent. Way contracts are written, people have bonuses at certain dates, like the league year starting on June 1st.
See, you're gonna
if you're on the roster at a certain date,
you're not going to get much back.
and
for
they're
him.
I don't want anything back.
And they don't want to trade for him until you've paid the roster bonus. Then they'll trade you.
He could go. He could go in camp if they like what they see from Parker and Thornton and Bourne's healthy and Myers looks good. I could see Aguilar going.
Oh my God! I can't believe you didn't include N'Keal Harry.
It just goes without saying that the man is gone.
But I've said this stuff before about Aguilar, and you guys, it was pretty good. He did some
No.
good things.
I don't think
none of us.
He had no presence.
He and Jonnu Smith had very little impact on the team, but that doesn't mean they never will, right?
Like, and then he dropped that pass that would have won the Cowboys game.
Who, Smith or
Aguilar?
Look, we all know it's really, 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 really hard to learn the Patriots offense, and so I don't mind giving Aguilar a second year.
No.
I don't mind.
And I don't mind Jonnu Smith either. I mean, he didn't catch a lot of passes. That's not his job. He's the inline tight end. He blocks. He's in there on running plays. Hunter Henry is
not. Come on, Joe.
Have you ever, when Hunter Henry's in there, they don't run the ball.
Joe,
it's throwing.
Joe, you did not
and vice
pay,
versa.
You did not pay Smith
did
all
not
that
pay
money
Smith
to
all that
block.
money, right.
We get Dwayne Allen wherever he is on it. What couch he's on.
Oh, yeah, he drops the ball. You don't throw him. If Mac's got to learn, don't throw him the ball.
Don't forget about Devin Asiasi and the other dude who's never
Dalton Keene.
Dalton Keene.
I think Asiasi's already been cut.
Yes?
I don't think so.
Huh?
No.
I thought he was cut the other day.
Didn't we trade up to get him too?
Oh yeah, we traded up to get both those guys.
Oh my God. They literally did zero.
Yeah.
I think
they're nothing burgers. Keene, I don't even think has been on the field.
And Asiasi had Asiasi because that's one of the words I know in Spanish.
Yeah.
And so I was really excited.
You were.
I would be bilingual when I would say that. But I think he had one catch.
Yeah, no, he's
in his whole career.
Yeah.
A total
James Young territory.
Do not draft anyone from UCLA. They're always stiffs.
Well, Matthew Slater wasn't a stiff, but that's okay.
But that's like 100
years ago, right?
And he was drafted for special teams, not as a
Panned
football
out.
player. Yeah.
Panned out.
Yep.
Do the Patriots make any surprises? Though I do believe Dante Hightower is coming back.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think they've moved on.
You think?
Yeah. Yeah,
They would have offered him a contract.
Look, Dante
by now, don't you
Hightower
think?
is going to be. That could be sort of a mid-year
Injuries.
Dante come in, stay in shape. You play the last 8 games.
Yeah. Okay.
Get your legs
all right.
back.
They haven't offered him a contract.
No, I know they haven't.
Yeah, get your legs back. Just keep living in Foxborough. You're on our list.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right? Why wouldn't you do that
Jamie
if you're
Collins,
Dante?
Same
we'll
thing.
We'll pay you like $100,000 for an appearance. Put some
Yeah,
money
whatever.
in your
There's a
pocket.
lot
you
of
need,
veterans
right.
out there that haven't been.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
There's a lot of guys that they might still take a look at once June 1st clears.
There'll be surprise things that happen. There'll be surprise cuts. There'll be a surprise trade.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to
Right.
get past that June 1st date too. That makes
Coming
things
up.
a lot better.
All right, one more topic. Tom Brady. Have you heard of him, Joe?
Once or twice.
He lived in the Brookline area. He signs a $375 million contract to Fox for 10 years to do a job that he's never done before. I don't know. That's pretty unheard of. I don't
Sure
think that's
is.
ever happened
That's
before.
reeks of desperation.
What is that all about?
Because he doesn't really seem to be the analyst type.
I just think unless he completely has a personality transplant, this is not someone who likes to criticize people.
No.
And if you're going to be in that seat and you have an inability to criticize other human beings who you may have played with or might even still play against, who knows? He's just not gonna do it.
So he just did this it's a money grab.
I think I said to this before the show. I think you should look at this as a 3-year, $100 million contract with 7 voidable years.
Yeah, he's probably got option years, and if he doesn't like it or they don't like it, they can.
He
See
will
you
get
later.
criticized more as the announcer than he
100%.
ever did as a player.
yeah.
I don't listen to talk radio very much, but Felger said something today that made me laugh out loud. He said, Brady's going to walk into the press box and realize that he has the same job that Zoe has.
Exactly. Right. And Zoe's a lot better at it than he is.
Zoe's a lot better at it than he is. Like literally, he's going to walk in there. I'm like, I am Zoe. Like Zoe does radio, I do TV, but like we have the same job.
Yeah.
And Zoe is so much better. Zoe's pretty good.
Zoe's very good.
Yeah.
Well, and Zoe's more personable too.
Yeah.
In
Zoe
all
will
of his
criticize you,
interactions, yeah.
people.
Right.
He's
But
got an edge to him. He's funny.
But he has a personality.
He's got a personality.
And he's established, and he's been doing this a long time.
Look, we have seen Brady talk trash, and when you see Brady talk trash, it's actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
If he could bring that personality into the booth, maybe, but
Yeah,
I don't
the guy
see
that
it.
threw the Super Bowl trophy from ferry to ferry there.
Yeah,
That's
just
the guy
he should
you
have
want.
a couple of pops before he goes
yeah,
into
right. But I want to know one thing. Did they at least have him do a simulation game? Did they at least do that?
Gods don't do
They
tryouts.
bought the name. They bought the name.
Gods don't do
Yeah,
tryouts.
sure, I guess they don't.
They bought the goat.
It's going to be very interesting. Maybe we'll have him on the show then. Yeah, there you go. It'll just be a Fox guy.
Brookline
All right, well,
Zone.
that's our show for tonight. Want to thank, of course, Todd behind the scenes, the handsome one. Want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. Scott Kerman, have a great and happy night. The elephants are in town.
Here comes the circus.